You picked up a lot of things other people didn't. You just wrote it's kind of up that we just got the news this week that Arkansas executed an innocent man and it barely registered. I mean, 6 people got shot to death yesterday at a birthday party on Mother's Day, right? 2 little girls and a woman got shot in Times Square just for being, bystanders.
First.
I mean, right. It's just, wow. Yeah. This is the new normal, right?
By the way, Baltimore just had 4 people shot dead and an explosion on a block.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was last night or this morning.
Yeah. This is Rico tweets. This was the 13th mass murder of 2021. We're in May. That we're up to 194 mass shootings this year. There were 4 today and 4 yesterday. And then hashtag the NRA. Okay, but I mean it's.
Well, it's all the pent up demand after the pandemic.
Yeah, so many people remained unshot that were busy dying of COVID. Mm-hmm. Okay. You just by the way just went on a tear on Twitter, which gave me life this weekend about because I'm just particularly we're all like on a knife's edge just being in lockdown this long. We're just like, please just get vaccinated, wear a mask, please, right? It's just, you said nearly all of those refusing to get vaccinated are adults making adult decisions. I'm not going to treat them like children and coddle them. I'm going to treat them as adult peers and be pissed off at them for being such fools and holes. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't want to sit there and say, oh, but they're uneducated or or they've been watching Fox News or all of that. The uneducated part, yes, we need to take care of.
The Foxitis defense.
They watch Fox News and have decided that that's where they're going to get their advice from the obviously vaccinated Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
Then they deserve all the criticism and mockery we can give them. And I don't care if that doesn't get them to if we're nicer to them, they'll get a vaccine, Just go get, do it because you're a human being and show that you give a damn about other human beings.
Yeah. Right. And then you just went on a tear about masks, which thank you. I'm still wearing my mask outside. You said who gives a, pardon me, if you wear a mask when you're not supposed to, that doesn't affect me or anyone else. I only care if you don't wear a mask when you need to. You said, it's not any of my business why you're wearing a mask outdoors, and only holes should get upset about people who do. You said pre-pandemic, when I would see people from Japan or China wearing masks in New York City, I would think, I wouldn't think, oh, those poor deluded bastards. I think, oh, I guess they chose to wear a mask. Huh. Okay, where's the bar?
Yeah.
But,
yeah. I mean... Yeah, and you know what I've learned with masks though? I've learned that I can go to my friends' houses that have cats. Because if I wear a mask,
a lot of people that haven't had a cold or allergy or flu in a year and a half are like, I'm just going to keep wearing it.
It's been so nice. I tell people that if they have cats, usually I'm like, I can't come over. You've got a cat. I have a severe cat allergies.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not anti-cat, but I say if I wear my mask, I'm good.
I can't. Yeah. It's ironic because you and I are both, allergic to pussy because, for obvious reasons, because you're filthy. Well, we're both filthy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. You said the point is we're still figuring this out. But a good rule of masks, if it doesn't harm you or other people, then you should pretty much just shut the up. And you said still really wear your mask indoors at public places and in private spaces with the unvaccinated and get vaccinated already. I mean, it's just the people that are complaining. Oh, yeah, this is Molly Jong Fast said, if you're a Republican complaining about how life isn't going back to normal fast enough, perhaps you should be trying to convince your fellow conservatives to take the vaccine. Work on that half of Republican men that say they aren't going to get vaccinated, right?
Yeah. It was so weird when, I came back from Louisiana, and one of the weird things in Louisiana is when I would wear a mask indoors. They stopped the mask mandate in Louisiana while I was there. But I kept wearing a mask indoors because I just felt like I felt safer.
Right.
And so, but people would look at me like I was, like I must be some evil communist because I was wearing a mask. And it was like, I'm not bothering you. I'm not doing anything,
Right. By the way, speaking of Louisiana, so is this, what's his name? Senator Cassidy, right, is from your home state. I thought I was watching Meet the Press because I wait till the end for when Chuck Todd says, if it's Sunday, I can scream, "You're an idiot." So, and that just makes me feel better because Donald Trump made me mean and it won't unstick. But I thought he was a perfect example of the Republican Party today because he said some good stuff. I mean, he voted to impeach, right? And he said, and he was, and he also didn't vote to overturn the election. And he said, well, what I tell people, because he's like, how do you deal with your voters that believe the big lie? And he said, well, I just tell them that Giuliani testified in court under oath there was no fraud. He said, I tell them that Sidney Powell, her defense is no reasonable person would believe what she's saying is true. It's just an opinion, right? So but then he went on to, like, when they got onto infrastructure, he goes, oh, well, $7 trillion, we're spending $7 trillion in 1 year. Hold on to your wallets. It's not 1 year. It's over several years, but you know what I mean? He's just goes right to the Republican talking points, even though he's one of the same ones.
Because he's got to show that he's still just as crazy as the others, except on this one thing that's become their litmus test.
I mean, it's like President Biden said, Rude, right? He said when he was asked early on about the Liz Cheney thing, he's like, I don't understand Republicans. I mean, who can make sense? You wrote a piece, Liz Cheney demonstrates the least you can do to preserve democracy, and we all can't stand Liz Cheney, but I mean, this Elise, what's her name? Stefanik. Mm-hmm. She voted with Trump 70-something% of the time. Liz Cheney voted 90-something% of the time with Trump. Yeah. Elise Stefanik voted against his wall, his tax cuts for the rich, trade and NAFTA, said we should stay in the Paris Agreement. I mean, I don't, it really is just a cult. It's just a cult. If the big lie is the only thing you have to believe in now.
I think that what they're banking on is that this is what's going to get their voter base riled up enough so that they can take back the House. If you look, Stefanik says she'll only serve until 2022 in the position. Yeah. And I think that's the end goal here is, can we get back the House and possibly the Senate? Because if they get back the House, 2024 is going to be a cluster F of epic proportions when it comes time to certify the election.
Rude, I'm so glad you wrote about this because it was one of those weekends. Besides all my love-hate mail, I feel like, is your hair not on fire? I feel like there's not enough urgency about what is really happening between what's going on in Arizona. The Capitol largely so far going really kind of unpunished. Do you know what I mean? Yep. And just all of these voter suppression bills and the fact that they're going to gerrymander the out of, right? They could one expert was saying they can gerrymander themselves 10 seats in the House. Yeah. And if we don't put pedal to the metal now while we have the House, the White House and the Senate, I mean, you're right. You're absolutely right. I see them doing this wherever they control the legislature. So they're just going to go, oh, no, we have the ballots. Nope, that didn't go like that. I mean, it's right. Yeah.
And then it all gets fought up to a Supreme Court that is 6-3 conservative,
Right. So that's what I'm saying. We've got to do everything. We have to expand the court. We have to pass H.R. 1. We have to figure out how to, get around the filibuster. It is just, I feel like I'm the only one, like I'm taking crazy pills. Like, do you not see that they have become an anti-democracy party? That's the fight we're in.
If there was no filibuster, this would be going through. All of these things would be going through. And you know what? If there was no filibuster, I mean, one of the things the filibuster does is it allows Republicans to never have to take a stand on a lot of issues. Right. And so because they never get to vote on the actual bill. They stop it before that can be implemented. Yeah. So I would bet that without a filibuster, there would be Republicans in the Senate that would go along with some of the bills that they're trying to get through. Yeah. Preserve their own asses in their states that are beginning to tilt towards Democrats.
What I love about what Biden's doing is because, one of our pals, Unprecedented, had a great podcast this weekend with Joe Walsh and about, and he's like, I think there will be a center, party, like a third party, which of course would not be good news for Democrats. But this is what I love that Joe Biden, I think, has reframed the entire conversation in that, it's not about like, oh, let's have these never Trumpers and move more right in the Democratic Party. Joe Biden is reframing the whole conversation. He is taking wildly popular ideas and showing that they are, because we've been screaming about it for years. Joe Biden's doing it, where we're going, these are not socialist far left. These are wildly popular things, right? Gun safety, the COVID relief, infrastructure, right? And you got to move the conversation, right?
And I love that he has said, we're just going to join what every other country is like in many of these things. We're going to do things like, parental leave, for instance, that is just taken as, this is what you do to give your people some sense of security in their lives. I mean, over and over, everything is just constantly this constant battle to can we survive? And, if I have kids, is that going to ruin my life because there's no support there?
How is childcare not like the infrastructure of our economy, right? And elder care, in my case, I mean, it's not for me, my mom. I mean, I'm close to needing it myself, as you know, as a hyper-salivating kid hater.
Yes.
So, but, the difference...
I always thought you were salivating because of me, but,
Yes. Yeah, well, you and Charlize Theron, correct. So...
Wow, that's going to be my fantasy for the rest of the day.
But you write about the difference between the parties, and you said for the most part, post 2016, and first of all, that was legitimately stolen by Russia, and God knows, right? It was not okay. Anyway, but you said Democrats sucked it up and moved on. No cult of Hillary developed that demanded all Democrats must declare themselves loyal to her or be exiled by the leadership of the party. I mean, it's just sort of frightening what's happening this week, as much as we're not Liz Cheney fans. But you said, I don't feel sorry for any of these GOP fleas. But man, sometimes you got to look up from the meth pipe, glance in the mirror, and ask yourself if you like the toothless bitch you see looking back. The Republican Party must be thought of and dealt with as an anti-democratic insurgency. Thank you. One that won't be satisfied until it's eliminated the need for elections in order to maintain power. If these win back the House, it's going to be crazy, right? When it comes to a time to certify the 2024 election, if it's even a little close and the Republican candidate has lost, if that candidate happens to be Trump, they will blow up D.C. To put his huge ass back in the Oval Office. And I'm not being hyperbolic with the idea of Republicans blowing up. Someone planted bombs last time. I mean, Rude, it hit me this weekend about January 6th that I'm like, all of us that lived through 9/11 in New York, you and I'm like, we were attacked. The Capitol was attacked. You remember the plane that went down in Pennsylvania was headed toward the Capitol. Well, the Capitol was attacked by terrorists. And we're just so far feels like, oh, well, right? I mean, we're not going to get a 9/11 style commission because one party was involved. It was their supporters. So we're in this. Kevin
McCarthy is scared of being called before a commission because he'll be put under oath and have to testify about him, begging and getting angry at Trump for all of this. Yeah. I mean, it's like, it really is just like watching like a bucket of worms, squirm around there when you look at the Republicans and just abasing themselves in front of Trump.
I mean, I know it's a lot on Merrick Garland, Rude, but if that's the only way, we just cannot set these precedents and just go, oh, well, and the media is just complicit in the both sides. And, oh, well, like we have another normal party when there are a bunch of insurrectionists that belong in jail.
As I've written, and as Dan Rather wrote this weekend, that the media needs to step up and say and ask any Republican that comes on the first question: do you agree that Joe Biden won the election, that it was a fair election? And don't go past that.
Thank you.
Unless they agree to that, we don't move on. We don't care about your opinion if it starts with insurrection.
Our friend Eric Bollard, who we'll talk to in a few minutes. I mean, the Barr memo. Time for the media to go, wow, did we up? It's okay. All right. I'm a little exercise this. I'm gonna hyper salivate now. I'm gonna spit all over everybody. Okay.
You know what? Just imagine Charlize Theron is there, and
exactly,
and I'm in the corner.
Has anyone put my head on Beethoven's face yet, shaking his head? Has anyone done that?
Not yet. I keep looking.
I think that would be fun. Okay, I love you, Rude Pundit. See you next week.
Bye.
Thank you for getting some of my agita out. Okay, 50 minutes after the hour.